morning guys, welcome back to Rock Fabulous 40s, and today I'm going to do a review for you guys on a couple of eyeshadow palettes. The two eyeshadow palettes I'm talking about are the new Butter eyeshadow palettes from Physicians Formula, these two guys right here. I have both palettes that they make, and it is in Tropical Days and Sultry Nights. So these I actually found at my local Walmart. I have seen them at Ulta and on Ulta's website as well. They are $16.95. You do get 12 shades. However, because they are drugstore, you can always use coupons. Like Ulta has their drugstore coupons you can always use, or if you have coupons for Physicians Formula, you can use them and get, a discounted price there as well. So I want to go ahead and tell you what Physicians Formula says about these palettes. So Physicians Formula says it is the ultimate must-have eyeshadow palette featuring 12 universally flattering shades to take you from tropical days to sultry nights. Incredibly soft and ultra creamy texture, can be applied wet or dry. Okay, then it also says that it's hypoallergenic, paraben-free, gluten-free, dermatologist approved, clinically tested, oil-free, ophthalmologist approved, and cruelty-free. Let me start by showing you guys the shades. The first palette I want to show you guys is the one in Sultry Nights, which is this guy right here. And they do come with these little eyeshadow applicators, which I've tried to use. They don't do any good. Anyway, so this one is in Sultry Nights, and it's got some coppery shades. It's got a couple of cool tones in here. It's got kind of a plummy purple here. And these, I'm going to have to kind of turn to the side for you guys a little bit here. These are the swatches of this palette. Alright, so it starts from the very, very top, going down from the this side, this quad, then this quad, then this quad. Okay, hope you guys can get a decent view of that here. Okay, the other one is Tropical Days, which is this guy right here. And again, we've got some warm shades, we've got some cool shades in here as well. And these, as I turn this way, if I can get that to actually, there we go. And these are the swatches for this palette. You guys kind of see those, I'm hoping. Maybe if I do like that, how's that? Yeah, like that? There we go. Alright, so these are the swatches of this palette, the Tropical Days. The Tropical Days palette I've actually gotten a little more use out of than the Sultry Nights, only because I find the shades, the formula in the Tropical Days seems to work a little bit better for me. You wouldn't think it would be that way, but because they're made the same, only difference being shades, but the Tropical Days does, for me, go on just a little bit better. So with these palettes, they are actually set up in quads, as you guys can kind of see here. So you have a quad right here, a quad right here, a quad right here. You don't have to use them in quads if you don't want to. You can use them any way you want, but all of the quads do go together. You can mix and match as you feel. Also, the back shows you how they're separated into quads, and if you want to take their suggested use, they give you suggestions on how to place the shadows so they look their best right here. Okay, I actually kind of like when brands do this, because if you're looking at a palette and you can't immediately see what goes well together, and then you have suggested, what do you call it, uses? Suggested application on the back, then I feel that sometimes that is helpful. So today I'm wearing a combination of both palettes, which you'll see in the demo. I did not follow any of the suggested application methods down here, and I did not follow the little quad suggestions either. I kind of mixed and matched and went with what I felt like, and it ended up being a combination of both palettes for today. So what I have realized with using these palettes, and I have used them now for, God, since I first saw them in Walmart, so it's been, what, over a month and a half maybe now I've been using them. I've been using them quite a bit, and I do get some good looks out of them. Like you guys saw in the demo, I am wearing them today. I did both palettes combined today, and I do get some really pretty looks. but I find that the palettes are very inconsistent from shade to shade. And let's get into a little bit more about that. By the way, these, I've heard other people say that they smell like the butter bronzers, that coconut smell. I might get a teeny tiny little tinge of that smell, but I am not getting much of it at all. I can barely even smell it. So it's like there's maybe something there, but it's not like the butter bronzer where you pop it open and get a whiff of that coconut smell and it just smells very beachy, you know. I'm not getting that vibe from these palettes. Okay, so let's get into the inconsistencies here. So this one is the Tropical Days palette, and I find in both palettes in general, the mattes actually really apply pretty nicely. They blend pretty nicely, they go into the crease pretty nicely. I do really have to work to blend them so they don't look like they've had those little skips in them, but then I can eventually blend the skips out, so it's not horrible. It just takes a lot of blending. So the mattes are not too terrible. If I was doing just an all matte look, I think I'd probably be okay with these palettes. The consistency issues really run into a problem when you get into these shimmers in this palette. Okay, so for example, this shimmer right here, okay, when I swatch it, if I can keep my finger in it, okay, it swatches beautifully, right? And it is, okay, really nice. This one goes on the lids nicely, it blends nicely, it does a nice job. But then you look at, let's take this shimmer right here, this green, and this one I was so disappointed in. So disappointed in. Look at that, that's all you get there. And then when you try to swatch it, guys, I am pushing like really hard here. Let's go over it again. Pushing hard. Okay, that's all you get. That is actually really disappointing when it comes to a gorgeous like teal green kind of shade. I was actually kind of looking forward to wearing that on my bottom lash line, but it doesn't really show up. This purple right next to it, I'm wearing this all over the lid with another shimmer on top. This purple is not horrible. Okay, and it is pretty. You can layer it up to get a really pretty, there we go. So it can be layered to get a really pretty purple, and like I said, I'm wearing that all across the lids, but I did have to pack it on, build it up. You can't just really take just a regular shadow brush into it and swoop it across the lids and it's going to be, you know, that perfect purple. You really have to build it. Then you have these chunky guys right here, like this one. I dig my finger into it. It has a very weird texture to it. Okay, this is it here. It looks pretty in my swatch on my finger, but it's got a very crumbly, I don't know how to explain, crumbly, almost wet kind of texture. Hold on, I don't want to get this all over me because it will. You ready? Look at that. Okay, so it is pretty, but look at all those look. You guys see that? Look at that. That was a big crumble, and it just fell onto my vanity. There's the crumble right there. Okay, so these are very crumbly. You can blend them. They do apply best with a finger. I tried using the little brush applicator that it came with. It was not good. It didn't pick up at all. It doesn't pick up with a brush. The best application is with a finger. And I have worn this all over my lid, and I do have to just kind of pick it up and swipe it. You can't just pat it on. I got to swipe it and then pick up a little more and then swipe it and then pick up a little more and then swipe it to get it to the place that I want where there's no crumbles. But then I end up with so much fallout all over my face. I get crumbly fallout from not just this one's the worst one, but all of the shimmers give a pretty bad fallout all over the face. The mattes, not so much. Okay, and the same goes with this palette as well. Now this one's got a shade in it that I don't even know why is in there, to be quite honest. But, alright, so you have your mattes here, and your mattes again show up pretty well. You've got, you know, a pretty decent shimmer here that works great for a little highlight. I'm going to have so many swatches here on my arms, guys. Okay, so that actually shows up pretty well. Pretty decent highlight there. Then you've got this gold. Okay, this gold is actually really pretty. Okay, it does have a little bit of chunk and it does have fallout, but if you guys can see that. It is a really, really pretty shimmer and looks beautiful all over the lid. So that one is actually really, really good. But then you have this guy right here. This guy has that same chunky kind of feeling as as the shade in the other palette that I showed you guys. And it's kind of that same chunkiness. Okay, did you guys just see that chunk fall off? I hope that didn't get on my sweater. Nope, there it is. Okay, so there's that chunk there. And you notice there's nothing really left on my arm from where I tried to swatch it. It kind of makes a mess. And then you've got this green, kind of a forest greenish gold shade here, which also has that same type of chunky, odd texture to it. Okay, let's swatch this guy. This guy swatches beautifully and doesn't actually chunk up on the eyes, but oh my god, does this give some major ass fallout. I'm talking, you're going to have green foresty cheeks for the rest of the day because it doesn't just wipe off. It's not pretty. Alright, let me get some of these swatches off of me before I end up with chunks all over my sweater. So guys, really, you know, these are $16 and the only consistent shades in either of these palettes are the mattes. And that is just not really enough for me to want to pick up these palettes and use them all the time. The shimmers and the shades that I am most attracted to take way too much work to use, or they just don't show up. It's just so inconsistent. So I'm not going to be reaching for these. The mattes that are in these palettes, yes, the mattes are gorgeous and the mattes do work very well and are very easy to work with. But I have other mattes in other palettes, and I have all matte palettes that have these exact same shades in them that I get more use out of. So I'm probably not going to be reaching for these much anymore. Alright guys, so those are my thoughts on the new Physicians Formula Butter eyeshadow palettes in a nutshell. I hope you guys found this video interesting or informative, and if you did, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Also guys, if you hit the bell underneath this video, you will be notified of videos when I upload them. And there's also a subscribe button down under there. If you hit that subscribe button, you too can rock your fabulous 40s, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.